Damon, what is my audience? And it's not a silly question. In fact, it's a great question, because if you don't know who your audience is, then how can you give the right product or service for them? Right? How do you know? Like, I don't know. I think your audience comes down to two basic things: the people who support your work, so your Patreons, and the people who you're doing the work for, the people who you're serving. Those might be two separate things, which is, I think, why we get confused sometimes. And I understand, I respect that. Don't feel bad if you feel a little bit confused by that, because sometimes the people that support your work are the people that write the grants, right? They're the people that are the venture capitalists. Shout out to all my VCs out there. They're the people that fund the work. But then the people you serve might be the people in the community. They might be separate. Mine always tend to overlap, because I work with the side hustlers, the solopreneurs, the bootstrappers, a lot of people probably like yourself. But y'all are also the people that support me by watching the show, by buying the books, by doing the different things. One thing you're able to do, no matter what your circumstance is focus on the 1,000 true fans. This idea actually comes from Kevin Kelly. He's a old school technologist. He might have been one of the founding editors of Wired, if I'm remembering correctly. And what he talks about is having 1,000 true fans. In other words, those fans that will, if we talk about from let's say you're a musician. So the 1,000 true fans will buy the vinyl, buy the t-shirts, buy the hats, buy the mugs, come to see you in concert. I have a good friend that just went to the Beyonce concert. True fan of Beyonce, right? Flew somewhere, paid probably an exorbitant amount of money to see Beyonce. True fan, true fan. If you have 1,000 of those true fans and they give you, say, $100 a year from the different merchandise, services, whatever, you start to multiply that, and you're making a living in most places here in the United States, if not Canada and Mexico. That's what he talks about with 1,000 true fans. I actually have an episode that talks more about 1,000 true fans, and let me go ahead and get it up for you. So it is how to grow an audience if you have none. This episode, in the links, talks about all the different strategies, including 1,000 true fans. There's another strategy from Seth Godin, who, if you're familiar with the channel, you know I adore him. He talks about having a minimal viable audience. So focusing on the people that you want to serve the most. When I first started my coaching practice, I literally had one client. That was my client for 6 months to a year. And then I got a second client, and now I have several clients. But it began with that one client and serving them the best. And in serving them, I learned all these skill sets. Shout out to you. All these different skill sets that now apply to the many clients I have now. But over time, that grew an audience. If you want to call having a coaching stable an audience, that's part of that discussion. When it comes to true fans, if you want to be a true fan and or you want to rock what I'm rocking right now, there's different t-shirts I'm actually going to be wearing throughout the lives. I'll go and get rid of this humongous bar in a second. But I just found out yesterday that the company I partner with, they're called Spring. You can learn more about them actually at the link right below. They used to be called Teespring. Now they're called Spring. I got these new ones just off the press. Let me put it down here. Got these just off the press. There's a new Bring Your Worth t-shirt. You might have had the Build From Now t-shirt. If you look at the older videos, the vintage ones with the different logos from my last book, Build From Now. Those are still available at my website at damonbrown.net. You can get them directly from me. The new joints, though, these shirts, there's also a hoodie and also a nicer shirt, which is a little bit more expensive if you want to splurge. I just found out yesterday, which is why I'm throwing it up here, that there's a sale going on at spring.com where it's 20% off everything if you use the promo code there. So if you're looking to cop some of the Bring Your Worth merchandise, particularly the clothing, this is absolutely the time. It ends today. Like today is September 14th as of this recording. So you want to go ahead and click on it now if you want to rock with it. No problem if you don't want to do it, but I'm saying there's a gap here. If you watch my show, you know that I don't do coupons. I don't. I don't do coupons. I do bonuses. I don't do coupons. I have whole episodes talking about that. Particularly, there's an episode about why you're not charging enough, which ran last week. Check it out. I talk about why. But in partnering with spring.com, they're doing their thing. If you're looking to do a t-shirt, check it out. This would definitely be the day to do it. This is something, and the mugs, which are available at damonbrown.net, these are things that true fans do. They rock with it. And so there might just be a handful or a little bit more folks that have the mugs, but the folks that have the mugs are helping to create that audience. And they're basically saying, I'm helping create the community that Damon is building. I want to be part of that. There's a lot of different things that I have from stuff that I have from TED, which is all behind me. There's so much paraphernalia and me saying, oh no, I rock with this group right now. So I'm part of this tribe. Again, as Seth Godin said in one of his earlier books, these things represent something. This is part of how you can build an audience and or help the audience feel like that they're part of a greater community. Both those things are really important. For my writers out there, if you want to get hardcore, you see the dog ears. So you know I'm not just puffing smoke like, oh, there's a great book. No, I'm not. Nobody's playing around. Guerrilla Marketing for Writers. This book is old. Let me put the bar away so you guys can see me. Look at my eyes. This book is old. Look how dusty this is. I don't even mean my copy is old, but I mean this book, I won't even look at where it's coming from. Like it has to be in the late 90s. It's from Writer's Digest books. They don't play. If you're familiar with Writer's Digest magazine, if you're a writer, you're a professional writer, you need to get on Writer's Digest magazine. They've been in the game forever, back when I was a wee lad. This is a fantastic book. The first author, J. Conrad Levinson, he actually did a very famous book called Guerrilla Marketing. Let's take that away. Called Guerrilla Marketing, talking about, if you're familiar with the guerrilla idea, it's a certain type of strategy often applied to warfare. Let's be clear. But a certain type of strategy where you're going against something and have way less resources than what you're going up against. So then you have to be strategic. I'm a coach. I love strategy. There's so much game in here. I believe it's 100 weapons. See, I wasn't kidding. 100 weapons for selling your work. Each of these dog tags, and there's other stuff I circled in here. I've got about 3 bestsellers under my belt. I did not do it on my own. This is one of the things in the treasure chest. I don't think I've ever mentioned it on the show, so it felt like a good time to do so. If you're a writer, you absolutely need this. If you're a creative, a lot of the tactics in here actually apply to you too. So I know a lot of photographers. There's some of my family. There's folks that are artists as far as like more drawing or painting. All y'all can get something from this. Also, as I alluded to, this is actually a series. So it's for writers, but there's a bunch of them on there. So feel free to click the link below. It will go to Guerrilla Marketing for Writers, but I'm guessing if you go to Amazon or whatever, it will also give you all the other ones. I think there's dozens now. Again, this book is classic, and the stuff in there is still relevant. I flipped through it. It's still relevant today. Rock with it if you're trying to grow your audience. That's such an important element of what we do, because if we're just creating stuff to create stuff, if we're just creating stuff to create stuff, that's not going to impact the world, is it? Like it's kind of, as one person said when I was in grad school back at Northwestern, they said, if you didn't want the feedback, then you can write in a diary. I'm paraphrasing. But in other words, you can have these big ideas as much as you want. But if you're going to show up as a writer, in my case, as a creator, with the work that you do, at a certain point, you're going to have to face that friction of people doubting your work. of the audience that you thought was there not really being the thing. Even the people that said they would support you financially or otherwise, I'll buy that book when it comes out, I'll buy your sculpture, whatever, and then I'm not showing up. That's part of the game. I'm not trying to be negative for you. Just that's part of the hustle, frankly. What I'm trying to do is give you as much insight and tools as possible so that you can break through those spaces. I remember having book signings where literally no one came. Me flying across the country. I swear, me flying across the country, showing up somewhere, and nobody showed up. You have to have enough perseverance and insight into what audience you want to connect and have that faith when you're in that space where people don't necessarily rock with you as much as you'd like them to.